Yeah, nightclubs are dying, and here's why. I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this. Nobody wants a table anymore. Back in the day when on any given Wednesday, Rihanna and Kim Kardashian could be spotted shaking ass at a table, yeah, that's pretty cool. That definitely had a moment. But now, the bottles, the signs, the sparklers, ugh, boring. In 2024 alone, I partied in 17 different cities around the world. I also work in Nightlife as a seasoned PR executive. So when I'm out, I do a lot of looking, I do a lot of field research, I ask a lot of questions. So this is not coming from just one market, this is a worldwide thing. Anyway, the conclusion is nobody's having fun at tables. Everyone is just like sitting there on their phones looking miserable. No one's dancing, no one.
Look at this. Empty. Nobody in there. Because men make it happen. We keep the establishments going. We spend our hard-earned money. Men are done.
Is clubbing dead everywhere? Like, is it just LA? Because no one goes clubbing anymore. Like, no one even wants to go out. None of my friends have been to the club. I haven't been to a club in months. What happened to clubbing?
Why are clubs all over the UK going from this to this?
Empty.
Strippers say a market crash is guaranteed because the strip clubs are suddenly empty.
Where are the single men at? In Atlanta.
Atlanta nightlife right now is not the same.
Stop it.
Especially clubs. One of the biggest clubs, one of my favorites in Atlanta, it just closed down.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
I will say one major reason why I feel like New York City club culture is dying is simply because the men want to be the baddie. The men are dancing behind the DJ booths. The men are not buying drinks. The men want to be approached. And now granted, this is not all men, but like majority of men now think they are the prize, so they step in these spaces and now they want to be that spectacle by other men and by women too. And so because of this, women are no longer just in this space for fun. Women can't go behind the DJ booths. Women have to focus on things like the music, like the technicalities of the experience rather than just thriving in the experience itself. And I didn't even know how many women were actually paying to personally. If I have to pay, I'm not going. Where is the list? But a lot of women are paying to party. So now it's like, well, men want to be the baddies. I have to pay to party. They're not really playing music that I enjoy consistently. I'm not having a good time.
I feel like what you say, the men are different.
The
men are much more respectful
now. Because like before, you could like you be dancing, and then after a while you got to turn back like, who the heck is this? No, I could be pushing back like, he ain't gonna come. Right. Like I hear doing the most work.
Sir, grab this wine.
No, but he's finna what? They ain't coming for wine no more. Like this stand up watching.
The whole touching thing, because I always used to have an SVD and used to make me so annoyed when you pass people, they gotta touch you.
Yeah, that's
especially the men. Now
nobody hands up,
girl. Come at all. I was
Nah.
surprised when somebody come behind me.
Honestly,
it was very shocking.
I'm kind of confused that you guys sound like you're upset. You don't get
because
bum rushed
now
anymore.
Look. When we used to get touched, it was annoying.
You wanted to get bum rushed.
No, but you go into the complete opposite side. You need a balance. Don't touch me up disrespectfully.
Right.
But pull up on me. Pull up. You could have been like, just walk.
I love to be the one to say it. Club culture dying is a huge reflection on how prominent the DL community actually is. Let's think about this for a second. That video that girl made, the viral video about how club culture is dying because guys want to be the girls now. Because men are so concerned being the center of attention. Basically, everything used to be about the woman. And why are men okay with this shift in priority? And why has the priority shifted in general? I think it could be for a couple things. One, I do think some men actually just like to flex on other men, and it's kind of like a big dick swinging contest. But that also used to include who would have the most women in their section and who would have the most beautiful women. That's not even something a lot of men are even checking for anymore. And it's because they don't like us. They really don't care about the women. They never did. And the fact that a lot of men are not caring about the fact that their sections are just filled with men should be very telling as to how they actually feel. This is a lot of men's dream come true, and that's why it's not fucking changing. I do think there are two scenarios. One, the ego trumps your desire for women so much to the point where you're willing to be sharing a bottle with 20 other dudes to feel important and to feel like you're in a space of importance, opposed to actually prioritizing being around women. And they want to feel important so bad to the point where they're all fighting to get one Instagram story of one bottle that they didn't even fucking pay for, or they're just DL, or they dislike men. And that's exactly where they want to be, and they're happy in their home.
There was a time when Friday night meant something. Not just escape, but belonging, laughter, and a heartbeat that matched the rhythm of the room. You'd walk in and the air felt alive. Strangers smiled like friends. Music filled the silence between thoughts, and everything heavy felt light for a few hours. Men showed up not just to chase, but to connect, to feel seen in a world that rarely looked their way beyond what they could offer. But slowly, something changed. The laughter got louder, the smiles got faker, and everyone started performing for a camera no one would remember next week. Women began dressing for validation that came in flashes, and men started realizing the connection they sought came with conditions they could never quite meet. At first, they kept showing up, hoping the old spark would return, that maybe one more night would make them feel something real again. But night after night, they left emptier, their wallets lighter, their minds heavier, and their hearts quieter than the bass that shook the floor beneath them. They realized the party wasn't about people anymore. It was about proof. Proof you mattered, proof you could afford it, proof you still had something to show. And when proof became the price, men decided the cost wasn't worth the noise. So they stopped coming. Not in protest, but in quiet understanding. The clubs didn't crash overnight. They just started echoing differently. The laughter thin, the dance floors crowded, yet strangely cold. Women looked around and said, "Where did the men go?" But the truth is, the men didn't disappear. They just stopped chasing the performance. They found peace in places that didn't demand applause. In dim rooms, quiet conversations, and spaces where no one cared what you wore or what you bought. Meanwhile, the nightlife tried to rebrand itself. Ladies' nights, theme parties, retro events, all designed to mask the truth that the soul had left the room. Because when men stopped showing up, it wasn't about ego. It was about energy, the kind that can't be bought, only felt. Women kept waiting for the thrill to return, not realizing it was never about the lights, it was about being seen through them. Now everyone's pretending the scene is just evolving, but deep down, they know. You can't build connection on competition. You can't dance when trust is gone. And maybe that's the quiet tragedy of our generation. We learned how to look perfect under neon lights, but forgot how to actually see each other. The music still plays, but the meaning doesn't. Every beat a reminder of something we once felt, but can't seem to find anymore. Some call it growth, others call it disinterest. But maybe it's just people outgrowing the need to feel valuable through being visible. Because what's the point of the party if you wake up the next morning feeling lonelier than when you walked in? Maybe men didn't leave the clubs. Maybe they just went searching for a different kind of high, the kind that doesn't fade when the lights turn off. And maybe, just maybe, the real party now happens in places where no one's watching and no one's pretending to be okay. Because sometimes walking away isn't quitting, it's realizing the music stopped meaning something long before the song ever ended.